Welcome back to Making Stuff with Stretch. I have the S2PI or RS P11 here, which goes into the rack mount kit from before. We've got the AI hat. I've already put the heatsink on it. It's kind of a pain to get off and then put back on, so I left it on. This is the AI Hat 2, which has the 8 gigs of onboard memory, so it doesn't have to share with the host memory. Of course, the PCIe cable right there, and then I have the Raspberry Pi 8 gigabyte version, which is fine for this, given this has its own onboard 8 gigs. This kit right here also came with some heat sinks. Not going to use this heat sink kit right here, but I'll take those and use those for something else on another project. Let's pull out. Oh, here we go. I forgot. Next one's about from this side. All right. So there we have our Raspberry Pi with 8 gigs of RAM. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little piece out right here that's covering the fan connectors, and I'm going to put this fan and heatsink. I'm going to hook this up on here, but before I do that, I'm going to place these on here to help conduct the heat. Putting them on everything here. And this just kind of a makeshift little tiny square right there. And then just to keep things nice and even. All right. So this should clip on pretty smoothly. There. Line those holes up. Connect. Make sure that's not clamped down there. All right, and there we go. So now we have our heat sink in there, and it looks like I had a little bit of spillage of the thermal pad. So let's pull that out so it's not going to get in the way of us hooking up things that are going to use those pins. Okay. And we can do a little bit of tidying up here too, just a little bit. Okay. All right, now to connect the fan unit. Pretty straightforward. All right. I like to hook up the ribbon cable to the Pi first. I just find it makes it a little easier, and then it's got that Raspberry Pi icon there for which side goes to the Pi. So this one will go in seated this way. The way that I tend to look at this is whatever end the connector there is sticking out, that is the back side of the cable. The front side has the actual wire connectors. So with that in mind, hold that down like that, connect, make sure it looks like an even connection. It does. I'll give it a gentle wiggle. Nope, it does not move at all, so that's great. All right, and now the kit itself, the AI kit does come with its own riser, the GPIO header riser, and other fittings here, but I am going to experiment. We'll see which one will actually end up working better for this situation. Sometimes I'll just line this up. That way we can make sure that we clear the heatsink here. That one, we could clear it, probably barely clear it though. If we go this route, we get a lot more height, a lot more room there. And we'll allow a little bit more ventilation for that fan. And then what I'm probably also going to do, I'm going to need to have some taller some taller things to work with there. All right. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and connect this here right now, just so that I'll be able to accurately measure. This right here is not going to be tall enough by itself, so nope. So we will dig into our collection of parts. Let's see if any of these will be tall enough. That's going to be too thick actually for that connector. Right, yeah, that's going to be, ooh, yeah, too thick. So we won't be able to use that one. These ones, yep, those will be good. Is that tall enough? Oh yeah, it's plenty tall. We don't even need the extra nut that's on there. This might still be a tiny bit too tall, but nope, that's actually really good. It's going to leave minimal exposed wire there. So now we just need to find 3 more of those. I have another one sitting here. Take that nut off as well. And now to find 2 more of the exact same size. Let's see, there's that one. I suspect maybe this one too. Just cannibalizing our parts pool. We've had many different projects, used many different forms of this. This one's going to require 2 of these tools to make that work. That nut is on there extremely tight. There we go. I think we got that loosened. Three. Let's see, that looks like the right height there too. Ooh, sometimes you have to switch that around because as these things get used, they become kind of worn out. Okay, we got that nut off now. We need to fit this. There we go. All right. So now we've got 4 of the same size there. We will get this positioned onto here. Just gently get these started. Not going to tighten them down too much because we do want to make sure those pogo pins are going to be seated and lined well. These pogo pins right there. That's what's going to allow using the front USB-C port here for power. And the way I've got things right now, all of my power basically is getting routed to the front of my 10-inch rack. All right, so looking at those pins, looks like they're lining up pretty good. It's actually interesting that that other one in the back is looking kind of off a bit. So we'll see how this goes as we tighten it. All right, I think we're still making contact there. Now these are easier to tighten if you can take this piece back off. Right, give that extra tighten. Ready. Okay. That looks pretty good. Let's get this connected to our hat. What I'll often do is I look at, okay, which pins are a little off. Okay, these ones are spaced a little close together. Open that up with these tweezers a bit. This one right here as well. All right, let's see how this goes. Doesn't really matter which direction we start with. There we go. And just wiggle, wiggle. Oop. Okay. All right, do we have any obvious pins out of alignment? These ones right here are looking a little bit out of alignment. There we go. All right. And press it through. So we'll still be able to use these pins if we decide to add something later. Alternatively, I could have just used this short one right here, and then that would have been kind of, may or may not have had a solid connection there. I guess at that height, it might have been okay, but usually when the pins can come all the way through, you have a better chance at having a good solid connection there. Not that that really matters so much on this hat. The biggest thing that's going to matter is the PCIe connection, although I'm sure this probably gets some power from those 5-volt pins. All right, now this one has the connector on the downside here, so that means this wire here, the metal part, sticks up. So if you notice, this cable has the wires on one side and the other side. They're not both on the same side. So that's a key distinction between these AI hats that I've seen. All right, get that in there. Very nice. And secure that. And now, okay. The other thing that we can do, of course, is we're going to add some screws here. We're going to use the ones that came with the thing that we are mounted to. Use these ones. Nice solid connection there. Nice thing about these AI hats is they do leave room for the camera connectors there. Those are basically like the primary use case that most people use the AI hats with. It's like image processing, taking live camera feeds, maybe doing object detection, motion detection. I have a different use case in mind. I'm not going to use any cameras for anything. Right. And there we have it. This thing is ready to plug in to our rack. All right, and because I'm using the AI hat with the PCIe lane, it means I cannot use the NVMe. I can't, this cable is not, not connected here, obviously. If I wanted to use an NVMe drive, SSD, I could have ran a cable from here to the Raspberry Pi, but I know that even with splitters or the switches, the PCIe switches, those are not generally a good idea to have when you're using the AI Hat 2 because it needs that full 8 gigabit connection over that cable. When you end up switching, it tends to drop that speed down. So we need that full lane, that full bus just for the AI hat. All right. Stay tuned for the next part of the project.